Folks, welcome back to the Bobby Bo Show. Here's the moves it starts with. It's a Carol Khan, and this is a great example of why you should never resign. But if you're thinking about resigning, at least consider if you might be playing a new Gambit. And that's what I've got for you today, a new Gambit. And it starts with the exchange Carol Khan. And after C captures D5, they play bishop to B5 check. And I can block with the bishop or the knight here. And I just block with the knight. I should probably block with the bishop. But now they play knight to E5, attacking my knight twice. And I can block with the bishop once again or play queen to C7. Now attacking this knight, and the best move here is just d4 to defend it and start their development, but they bring the queen out, they play queen to e2, and now they're defending the knight. And now the queen's no longer defending this square, so I can play bishop to f5, attacking the c2 pawn, and here they play d3, blocking my bishop from attacking it. And now the queen also defends this, but they could have just played d4, and d4 would have been a lot better here, because you're controlling the middle, defending the knight, and your queen's defending this square, so that's fine. You don't have to worry about that. And in fact, not playing d4 is going to be crucial to my comeback here. And I say comeback because what do I do here? I make the worst possible move, and I think, well, this knight is pinned to my king, and if I were to just castle, now it's no longer pinned, right? But I forgot, rookie mistake here. When you castle queenside, you can get forked on f7. Boom, and you're losing a rook. But I remembered it the moment I castled, and I was hoping that they would not notice it, but of course they're 1600, so it's pretty easy to see this. And they played bishop captures c6, taking my knight first, and I have to take back and just accept that they're going to play knight captures d7, taking my pawn, hitting both of my rooks. This rook is trapped, I can't move it, but I can develop, and I'll play knight to f6, developing my knight, because after they take my rook, now I can play e5, and now this knight has nowhere to go, cannot get out. So I'm going to get this knight, even though they took my rook, I'm going to get the knight, my queen's defending this square, pawn's defending this square, so this knight is trapped, and now that I have a pawn on e5, I control the center, completely control the center, because they did not play d4. They should have played d4 because of that, and having the center control and the development is going to be the key here, and that's why this is not a blunder, it's a gambit. It's a development type positional gambit that I just invented, works against 1600 rated players, so try it, might work out for you, because after they castle, now, I can play bishop to d6, finishing my development, now attacking the knight, also putting my bishop and queen on the diagonal with the king, and they have yet to develop any of their pieces. They've only moved their queen and their d3 pawn, they're about to lose their knight, which is their only developed piece. So what do? Do they continue developing, try to get their bishop and their knight out, and then get their rooks to the middle, and then play a safe and easy game? Nope, they play h3. Now this gives my bishop a target. Also opens up some gaps on their king here. I guess they saw this lineup here. They didn't want me to take this pawn ever. But one of their big problems this game is they're going to make a lot of pawn moves instead of making piece moves. And after rook captures h8, you see they're up +3 material, but it's not a piece that they're up. They are up a pawn and an exchange. So I exchanged a knight for a rook, and even though a rook is worth 5 and a knight is worth 3, I'm fully developed and they're not using any of their pieces yet. So unless they get their pieces out and use them, they will not be able to take advantage of the material advantage. But now bishop to g5, developing their bishop, attacking my knight, and that's a good move here. And what do? Well, I am down material, so I am losing, but if I want to make a comeback, I'm going to need as many pieces as possible. Because the less pieces that I have, the simpler the game is, and the easier it is for them to win. So you do not want to make it simple, you want to make it complicated. Keep the pieces on the board. I move the knight back to d7, and now they develop their knight to c3. Another good move, they've developed their minor pieces, now they just have to develop their rooks. But my only hope is to attack their king before they can finish development. And the way I do that is to move these pawns down the board. And if I play h6, I'm attacking the bishop, and they have to respond to that, so they have to go back. So that comes with tempo, and after they go to h4, I play g5, attacking the bishop again, they have to move the bishop again. So that's 2 free pawn moves, and now my pawns are almost halfway down the board. I'm going to play h5, and now I'm getting ready to attack the king. So after a couple quick moves, we're almost ready to attack the king. And they have to be ready to respond to this, and if they don't respond to the attack, then I'm going to win. And if I was them, I would probably just bring this rook over, and then just get ready to take this pawn, and just pile up on the middle here. But instead they play a3, and their plan for this game is to push these pawns down, and try to, I guess, attack my queen side, like I'm doing to their king side, but I'm way ahead of them already. I have my pawns halfway down the board, they have their pawns all the way on the back line, they haven't moved their rooks yet. They're up +3 material, but think about it. If they're up +3, but these rooks are worth 10, and they haven't used their rooks yet, and I'm using all of my pieces, then I'm basically up +7, or at least something. Unless they get their pieces involved into the game, I'm up material basically. So knight to f6, and I'm bringing my knight over to the attack, getting ready to do something with that, and I'm making sure that I'm using all of my pieces in this attack. And after b4, once again, not moving their rooks, now I can play h4, attacking the bishop here, and the bishop cannot go anywhere forward, so I have to go back to h2, and they're still winning, but they're still not using their rooks. And after g4, they have one good move in the position. And what would you play here if you're white? You'd probably lose the game, but there's one move. And now their king is about to be broken open. I'm about to take on h3, maybe even push, maybe something like this. But look at this, my bishop and my queen are lined up, my bishop here, my rook here, my knight's ready to come forward. All of my pieces are in this attack. And look at their rooks are useless here. This knight is almost useless too. This knight's not doing a whole lot either. It's basically just a bishop and a queen versus all of my pieces right now. This rook is basically blocking in the king, making it easier to checkmate him. So what do you do here? Well, apparently the only move for white that keeps a really winning game is d4. They could even play king to h1, but d4 is really the winning move here. But they didn't find d4. They played g3, and I'm winning. But I have to play the right moves still. And what do you do here? Well, there's a couple pawn captures here. So would you play h captures g3? Would you play g captures h3? Would you maybe play rook to g8? The engine even says king to d8 is an option. So if you said king to d8, good one. But the best move is not h captures g3, because then they play f captures g3, and your attack is no good anymore. But maybe they'll make a mistake, and now your bishop is under attack. Their rook is now activated, and their king is safely behind the pawn here. Oh, don't do that. Instead, play g captures h3 like I did, or play rook to g8, getting your rook in front of the king. Also an option, but g captures h3 is the best here. And you're about to play something like rook to g8 or queen to g7 and attack the king here, break it open completely. And your king is completely safe, and they still haven't activated their rooks. So at this point, black is starting to be winning, but you still have to play well. They play queen to f3, and now the bishop is under attack. But you have a couple options to keep winning, and I did not play the right one. But what would you play here? Your bishop's under attack. If you move your bishop, this knight will be under attack. If they take this bishop, it will come with check. So you can't do something like h captures g3 and then take this bishop, because they take your bishop with check. So that's a problem. And the best moves here is actually to move your queen to defend the bishop. And you either go queen to d7 or queen to h7. And now your queen is more a part of the attack and defending the bishop. Or you can play the move I did, which is rook to h5. And the engine keeps going back and forth about whether it likes this, so I'm not sure. But if they play g captures h4, apparently they're fine. Nope, now queen to g7 check. Maybe a death problem here. Now it says draw again, queen to g3, bishop to g3. I don't know here. This could be winning, but that's not what they played. They might be losing completely here. They played b5, continuing the queenside attack. But my attack is so much further along. They don't even have a rook behind it. They don't have their rooks in the game. They're minus 10 right here because they're not using their rooks. This knight's practically not doing anything either. So what do you do here? Well, you could take this pawn. You could play queen to g7. You could even play rook to g5. The point is, you should be attacking the king here. But for some reason, I played e4, opening up my bishop here. I thought that was a good idea to attack the queen. Which, where does the queen go, right? The queen has to go back, right? I thought this was good. But after d captures e4, I don't know. I guess I missed the pawn take. I don't know if I missed the pawn take or what. I just somehow made a mistake here. And after d captures e4, they're winning once again after knight captures e4. And I'm starting to realize I messed up here, because now my knight is under attack. And if I move this knight, then my rook is under attack. And if I move this bishop, then my knight gets taken. And they're up material, so I can't be giving away material here. I need to be winning the game. But this is starting to look pretty bad here. I can't be simplifying. I need to be checkmating. So what do you do now? Well, finally, I play h captures g3. And if they don't make the right move again, then I'm going to be winning once again. So what do you do here if you're white? You take the pawn. What do you do? Well, whatever you do, it needs to be this knight. Either knight captures g3, knight captures f6, or knight captures d6. You need to start trading pieces or defending your king. But instead of playing one of those three moves that wins the game, they played the fourth best move that loses the game, f captures g3. And now all I have to do is calculate the winning tactic, and the winning move is not queen to b6 check. And now it's a draw if they find the winning move. But let's go back. What's the right move here? Take with the knight, or take with the bishop, or do something else. And the winning move is bishop captures e4. Attacking the queen, defended by the knight here. Now your knight's not defended though. They take your knight, but now you play bishop to c5 check. And look at this, the king's almost checkmated. What do they do? What do they do? They have to play rook to f2. And now you play queen to d7. And their king is about to get back rank checkmated. Look at this. Your bishop is pinning the rook to the king. You're not going to take this rook, actually. What you need to do is something like rook to d5, and then do a battery and back rank checkmate them, because this rook can't move and the king can't move, and this bishop is stuck. So something like rook to d5 would be winning here. And that's how you would end the game from here. Even though you're down material, you're about to win. So that's why you play bishop captures f4 here. But I saw a different tactic that I thought was also winning. Queen to b6 check, attacking the king. But now they have one winning move again. How do you win the game here? If you're white, what do? You have to defend the king. Only one move. Knight to f2. And you're fine. And you're up material. Your king is safe. It's a drawn game, apparently, according to the engine. But you're at least safe. And I think white has probably a better chance of winning when they have more pieces. But they don't play knight to f2. What do they play? What do you play? Well, your knight's under attack. They play queen to f2. Blocking with the queen, offering a queen trade. That would solve their problems, right? A queen trade would be fine. But now knight captures e4. Now the queen's under attack. Queen's also pinned the king here. But they wanted that queen trade, right? They can just trade queens. We trade queens, right? No problems. But now what do? Well, your king is still under attack. And there's a pretty common checkmate type pattern here that you should be able to see if you're black. And they cannot stop it at this point. It's a completely winning game, no matter what they do. And what do? They play b captures c6. Okay, taking another pawn. And it doesn't really matter what they do anyway, because I have bishop to c5 check, attacking the king here. And you can block with the rook and then lose it. Or you can play king to h1, getting out of the check. But now knight to f2 check. And they immediately resigned. But what do? They could take with the rook, and then I'm up material, and I'm finally winning the game. Or they can play king to g1, and then all I have to do is move this knight, because the bishop is coming to e4, and my bishops are going to be checkmating the king. So we can go, let's say, knight to h1 check, attacking the king, knight captures, checkmate. They either have to lose the rook and be down material, or get checkmated. So that was a good game, and that was my new Gambit. Let me know if you think you're going to try that one out. But before you resign a game, consider if you have a development lead or maybe some sort of advantage that you can use to attack their king or checkmate or promote a pawn. And remember, it doesn't matter if you're down material if they're not using their material properly. So smash the like button if you learned something today. Hope you enjoyed the Bobby Bo Show. Thanks for watching. Hope you have an excellent rest of your day.